What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to The Pursuit of Calling, the podcast that provides you with the strategies and tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your calling. Whether it's through inspiring stories, thought-provoking interviews, or quick, insightful episodes on personal growth and development, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Thomas Carney. Enjoy the episode. How's it going, pursuers? Welcome to this episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast. If you're feeling stuck, directionless, or like there's more you're meant to pursue in this season of life, I created a free guided reflection workbook called Pursuing Your Calling. It's designed to help you slow down, process your life, and actually turn them into clarity and direction. You can get it through the link in the description or in the bio of my Instagram or Facebook. If you're interested in going deeper through group or one-on-one coaching, there's a little spot on there to let me know that too, and I'll reach out. Now, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of today's episode. In the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell said, "Experience is not the best teacher. Evaluated experience is." Two people can go through the same season, same failure, have the same opportunities, and walk away with completely different outcomes. Not because their lives were different, but because what they took away from that experience was. Reflection is what turns experiences into insight, and insight is what reshapes your identity. If self-image is a ceiling of your behavior, like we talked about in the last episode, then reflection is how that ceiling gets raised. Most people, especially here in America, always seem to be in a rush. You move, you hustle, you sleep, and you repeat. You never take time to process your days, weeks, or years. You never hit the pause button and take intentional time to extract any meaning from the life that you've lived. And then you wonder why nothing really changes. At least not for the better. And there's a simple truth here. If you don't take the time to pause and reflect, then you won't learn or grow as much as you could. But you will repeat the same cycles. That's a promise. The same cycles that have kept you where you are. If you just repeat life without learning, you're not growing wiser. You're just growing older. So just like last episode, we're going to have 3 points. And point number 1 is reflection is a pause where growth actually happens. Most people think growth comes through lived experience. It doesn't. Experience is just raw information. It's raw data. Reflection is what turns it into growth. Without reflection, life becomes repetitive, not progressive. You stay living on default. In life, you can go through failure, success, opportunity, and loss and still stay the same internally if you never pause long enough to process those experiences that you lived through. That's why reflection is not an extra add-on to life. It's not optional if you want to grow. It's the mechanism of growth itself. Because when you pause, something critical happens. Your mind gets a chance to catch up with your life. Without taking the pause, you're always reacting from the last moment you just had instead of learning from it. Julius Caesar said, "Experience is the teacher of all things." And if you didn't pay attention to the quote I said earlier, John Maxwell disagrees. Experience is not the best teacher. Evaluated experience is. Unprocessed experiences don't become wisdom. They become missed potential and repeated patterns. Reflection is a moment where experience is converted into wisdom, and And wisdom is what actually changes your life's direction. Point number 2. Reflection is a day in a review. Most people don't know how the day actually went. Maybe you think you do. It was a good day. It was a bad day. I didn't get much done. Meh. Today was just a day. And then you move on. There's no review, no taking time to process the day that you just had. Even if your inputs are fantastic, you're listening to great podcasts, you're reading great, phenomenal books, you just heard such a great sermon on Sunday, and you're having fantastic conversations. If you rarely stop long enough to think over what stood out to you, what could have been a point of true growth, you just passed by unexamined. And now it's a memory. The problem isn't that you're not doing enough. The problem is that you don't have a system to review what you've already done. We live a very fast-paced life. So fast that we can rarely take the intentional time to look back on our lives with intention. And if you never review your life, you don't actually learn from it. It just becomes a fond memory. Reflecting on your day intentionally allows you to see your life from a different angle, so you can grow and improve. It's not about overthinking. It's about growth. I'm going to give you a system to follow a little bit later in the episode, so stay tuned. Point number 3. Reflection creates wisdom, and wisdom changes how you live. Ooh, that's good. Most people collect experiences like their Pokemon. I didn't even mean to wear my Pokemon shirt today. You gotta catch them all, but you don't use them all. Few people, and just like those Pokemon that you never used, you let sit on the computer, few people extract wisdom from their experiences. And that gap is what separates repetition from maturity. Reflection is what turns your life into a learning laboratory. And here's the key. Wisdom is not just understanding what happened. Wisdom is knowing what went well and what to do differently next time. And so reflection has to become a structured part of your life, not an emotional one. A simple rhythm to follow that I learned from John Maxwell, again, in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. If you haven't picked up the book yet, what are you doing? Here's a 3-step system. You answer to these 3 questions. What did I feel? What do I think? And what do I know? It's that simple. Because feeling gives you awareness about the situation. Thinking gives you your interpretation. And knowing gives you clarity. Facts over feelings, guys, because are your feelings aligned with the facts? And clarity leads to adjustment. And adjustment leads to growth. And there's another layer here. Because without it, success inflates you and failure shrinks you. But reflection keeps you grounded in both. It becomes a walking stick, something to steady, something steady you can lean on so you don't get lost in highs or lows in the mountains or the valleys. Because if you only live while looking forward, you start to forget who you were created to be. And without it, success turns into pride and failure turns into a collapse of who you know yourself to be. Reflection stabilizes both of those. And that stability is what allows you to actually stay consistent long enough to become who you're called to be. Even in scripture, people reflected constantly. People didn't just experience God, they remembered what he did. They built altars, they told stories, they wrote things down. That gave us the Bible. Because forgetting who you are and how you got to where you are causes you to drift. Think of the Israelites after they left Egypt. Time and time again, they forgot what God did for them. They forgot the miracles, forgot the provision, forgot the freedom that they had already been given. Every time they forgot, they drifted. They drifted into fear, into complaining, into disobedience, into believing slavery in Egypt sounded better than trusting God in the wilderness. Why? Because what you consistently remember shapes what you consistently believe. And that's one of the reasons reflection matters so deeply in the life of a believer. Reflection helps you remember where God has brought you from, what he has already done, what he has already promised, and who he has created you to be. Without reflection, even meaningful experiences with God can slowly fade into distant memories instead of becoming anchors for your identity in Christ. When you pause long enough to ask, where is God calling me to? And what is he teaching me through this moment? That's where direction starts to become clear. And to leave you guys, I want to give you a challenge. I had a couple more bits of my notes, and there's already, I want to share it with you, an already proven system that corporate teams are using to improve the performance of their teams. When I was a web developer, I was a web and mobile app developer for 8.5 years. And we used a concept called a sprint retrospective every 2 weeks. In my journal, I took this same concept, and in my journal, it's a daily journal I have a section called Evening Debrief. And so I'm a nerd, so I track everything. Like, how much time did I spend learning? How much time did I spend on business execution? What about how much time did I spend on improving my health? And eventually I'm going to start tracking time I spent in the Word. Not to check a box, but to make sure that I actually do it every day. And then I go through my day and I review it. I'm writing down what went well, what didn't go well. Where did I avoid execution today? What patterns did I notice? Good or bad? And guys, this one's huge because this one has helped me a ton to notice some of the positive and negative patterns in my life. And what will I do differently tomorrow? And I make sure I'm being specific there. Why do I do this? Because I know that my goal is to have tomorrow be better than today. If I want to do better tomorrow than I did today, I have to evaluate daily. If you want a copy of the exact journal structure I use, I put it into a simple template you can use. Click the link in the show notes of this episode, provide your email, and I'll send it your way. And here's what I want you to do. I said I wanted to give you a challenge. Whether you use my template or not, I want you to journal for the next 4 days. Just the next 4 days. Next 4 days for 4 minutes a day. You can use my template. You don't have to use it. But I want you to start reflecting every day for 4 minutes and see what changes. See what happens. Guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast. If you enjoyed it, share it with a friend. Share it with somebody who you believe would benefit from reflecting on their day daily. And if you would be so kind, give this video a like on YouTube, a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. That would be amazing. Also leave a comment so I can know how I'm doing. And guys, appreciate you. Keep pursuing your calling. Do it well. And I'll see you next time.